To be determined.
To be determined right now.
All right, good.
We're working on that.
Because for people that weren't there or people that missed it, just trying to get downtown,
it was brutal.
The first morning was incredibly insane.
It threw our whole pacing off because
it was an unexpected wrench in the works.
We had vendors that were still not fully loaded in yet, and then there were things that we wanted to do with the crowd that had already formed for the early entrance.
There was basically a 5K that shut down downtown and kept anyone from getting anywhere near the
convention
where we
center.
wanted to be.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
The place where we had everybody entering near the ticket box office. Me and Jules talking about it, and we think that should have been the exit, and then where we were stationed near the door that leads to the exit should be the come in.
I'm going to have you show me that when we're talking, and then you got to remember it may be moot because we're going to be shifting box office and stuff around for the second year because we're going to have second floor action.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
we were just remember with that big guy that came in with the with
the guy with
suit?
the frost giant and the
frost giant and we had a Halo guy and they couldn't fit through the doors. We had to move a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh wow!
He's talking about where the volunteer office was.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Where our box office was last year.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And we're gonna that's definitely an effective point to make. Dolly, how you doing over there, hon?
Wonderful.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the crowd? We're not live on the air, so you can go ahead and say whatever you want. We can edit it out later.
And get right into the microphone.
And you want to get right on top of it.
Oomba.
Oh my!
I should turn my text tones off then.
Yeah, you probably should. That's okay. We still love you anyway. Some strange things happen during these recordings.
Yeah, no, my phone does that all the time. Okay.
Da-ding.
I don't know what to say about myself right now other than I am the doctor's companion.
Yeah, there you go. You were Colin Baker's PA the whole weekend long. As a matter of fact, it was kind of wild. Yeah.
You're welcome.
It was kind of wild because we had Dolly sitting with Colin Baker Saturday, and then our plan was to move some people around to keep things fresh and give different perspectives and whatnot. And we sat one of our veteran fellows around with Colin, and Colin put up a fuss. He was like, "No, I want my Dolly back." And I am not
not Dolly.
I'm not in the mood.
Dolly?
Right, exactly. I'm not in the mood to piss off a doctor. So we gave him Dolly back immediately, and you guys did. You were an awesome team over there. You guys had a lot of fun over there.
We did.
And then you had Terry Malloy sitting right next to you.
Oh God.
And he is just
you were double
stick.
Doctor Who.
I'm Facebook friends with Terry Malloy now. Now there's
too.
a sentence I did not expect to say in my life ever. All right, but I'm watching his antics and his observations. He's going around to other cons, and he's also, like me, he has his
very political.
He has his political opinions on his home country of England, and so it's interesting to see that he and I, if we were both countrymen, we'd probably right side by side with each other. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so where do we go from here? We talked about box office. We're talking about box office. Sybil, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
He's playing with the die.
It was awesome that all the badges were pretty much done to begin with, wasn't
Mom,
that did help out.
It'd just be nice if you brought them all.
Hey,
Saturday ones were.
Yeah, well, I found them. I really did,
after
along with my Sharpie
on
markers.
Sunday.
Yeah, I found them on Sunday.
So we're going to make sure that we have all of those on site. Yeah, Angie, go ahead.
Here, Mom.
Come on over, Angie. Angie's going to join the conversation for a moment.
Say hi to my mommy.
Hi, Mommy.
Hey. Just for a quick second, tickets and badges will next year be sent to me because I live closer, so that I can deliver them.
Yeah, that's right. Angie was telling me that at the office the next day when I finally showed up, she's like, "Okay, all of your badges, all of your lanyards, all of that stuff is going to come to my house. Okay, so just when you're done with it, just bring it over to my house, and because I'm only 5 minutes away, so if anything goes wrong, she can just duck right over to her place and come right back to the convention center."
Oh, so
9 times out of 10, I'm usually
Sweet.
pretty organized by it, and I could have sworn that we had them.
I know, but we always
moved
miss
boxes. Yes,
we always miss.
We missed something.
We always miss something.
But
It's
we
like,
had the blank ones, so we had something that was covered. So we had lanyards and things for them. Don't give me that.
Here comes.
You'll never be remembered for what you did right, only for what you did wrong.
Of course. Hey, I'm coming to Pittsburgh to get you, Sybil.
Sybil is laughing her butt off right now. Angie. That was a good one.
Come on, you're supposed to support me, Sybil. You're my fellow Pisces. Come on.
Jules, Ian, it was a
It's all
cranberry
about
moment.
Capricorns.
It really was, wasn't it? It was a cranberry moment, right?
Explain.
My kids, their great-grandmother, my grandmother was notorious. My grandmother at Thanksgiving was notorious for leaving the cranberry sauce in the microwave. And inevitably, and we would all forget, but inevitably what would happen is that about halfway, almost 3/4 of the way through dinner, somebody would like, "Oh, the cranberry," and then we'd run off to the kitchen and find it, and there it is, and we bring it to the dining room table. So we call.
So that's the first one that comes to the table from now on.
Exactly. So what happens is that whenever something gets forgotten, I call it a cranberry moment. So that's what we're dealing with right now. A box of the badges got left behind.
We just call it a Cito moment.
A Cito, because is your memory like mine? It's just a big block of Swiss cheese?
Oh, that's because of my meds, but yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, it's just because I'm an idiot.
There's a little bit of that, too.
Yeah, I'm what, second or third oldest in the room?
I thought you had Swiss cheese brain from jumping through time like Scott Bakula.
There you go. See, and quantum leaping.
Mm-hmm.
The second I was born, I forgot. Where am I going?
There you go. All right. So we talked about panels. We talked about the box office a little bit. What's in the middle? That would be the vendor floor. How do we like the vendor floor? How did it work?
The vendor floor. Okay. So
Shh. Hey.
Microphones pick up things.
Like sounds.
My poor kids.
The vendor floor Saturday was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was. A lot of people were wondering where the comics and stuff were.
Yeah.
Because once you enter through the where's that area? Where the wrestlers was in the video games.
The Galleria.
Okay.
The Galleria, yeah. Once you enter through there, all you see mainly is the plushies and stuff. So everybody's looking for the comics. They think it's going to be like front and center.
Right. Well, we look at the vendor floor layout, so it's diverse, and not everything is comic book vendors side by side by side.
Right.
It's to get the flow of traffic going all the way through. I know First Print Comics was on the first row, and then there was Pulp Nouveau comics that were right below the VIP row.
13th Verse was down on the main floor, right?
Right. They were all on the main floor.
We had 4? Did we have?
I think so.
We had
No,
4.
I think we had 5.
We were
5 or
supposed
4.
4, yeah.
4 or 5.
I just can't
Brian knows the
remember
count.
all of them because I'm not a huge comic book aficionado.
Yeah.
So
how are you here? I'm just playing with you.
You're fired.
I'm Tony now.
Billy could answer that more because you're a comic book aficionado.
Yeah,
so
but-
chances are you would have found all the comic book vendors that were there.
It's not like we're going through. I mean, it was a big room, but it's not
It wasn't that-
unmaneuverable.
No.
No,
it
really
gives you a
wasn't.
chance to look at everything,
Right.
And see, and you may find something not comic book related you like, a shirt or a sword or whatever.
Yeah.
Dragon's
And
Head?
It was
Yeah.
pretty good because you had we walked by with my friend Steph the pirate,
Right.
and her and Eric, and we heard some guys having a conversation, and they were talking heroes, and it was an actual decent conversation. It wasn't. One side was yelling and the other one was talking.
Oh, that was the DCU
Oh,
panel.
I was just going to say
they're
that.
talking about the
Yes.
panel.
DCU panel got into
that was
it
very
was almost
heated.
Jerry Springer.
Yeah,
That was
very
wild.
heated.
They were actually having a decent conversation
that
and
one.
actually, stating why this hero is better and why this hero is worse. And it was nice to see that and not see, well, this hero is better because I say so. Well,
Yeah.
your say so doesn't really matter.
But definitely, we're always going to balance that vendor floor to make sure that the vendors and the attendees have an equal chance of finding something that they want and that they can't live without, such as like Billy's comics or his
Actually, my,
Flower City Comic Con shirt that he has on today.
Which I absolutely love. I forgot
Yes.
to buy one.
Actually,
We
I
have
got
some.
I got one of
Can I have
each.
one?
You can buy
We'll
one.
talk about those in a minute.
I
Go
really
ahead, Tony.
liked how we had the rows for the vendor floor were nice and wide, so you didn't have to worry about jamming traffic.
Exactly.
That the Dalek could get through.
Oh yeah, Dalek.
Yeah,
could
see,
get
we
through.
knew that we knew Mark Townsend was going to bring his Dalek with him, so
and
we
chase
knew.
Sybil through the vendor floor.
It chased everybody to the floor.
Oh, there's an adipose in the
My new stress ball.
there. Oh, that's an awesome
working
one.
your adipose off.
Very nice.
And that's the thing. For vendor floor, and that brings up a great point. The vendor floor, we wanted to keep it spaced out to a particular degree because we want that open path of travel. We wanted to make sure that there was no bottlenecking, there was no clustering, but also, you have basic things like fire code that you have to adhere to, and some conventions in this region do not do that. And so we want to make sure people are safe and comfortable. That's a bottom line.
One.
And it's going to add to the whole overall experience, for everybody. For just, like we said, we want to appeal to the vendors and to the guests because the vendors are just as important to us. Go ahead, Sib.
I actually talked to several vendors, and they said that they really loved the layout because they've been to some conventions where they're they're sandwiched in between two people who are exactly the same as they are, and it doesn't help any of them because if you're looking for one thing, you see three people there, you're just going to go see one. because it's right there next to each other. But if they're spread around the convention room, you actually go and visit all of them.
Right, exactly. And I remember we had that conversation way back when we first started planning the first show, the 16 show. We were talking about how are we going to set this thing up, and we figured we could do departments, so that you knew you could have your collector who wanted just comic books. You could go to one corner of the room, and he'd have all of those vendors right there around him. And, we talked about that and doing things like that and putting things together like that. But then we realized that what's the point of wandering around the room and maybe exploring something or seeing something out of the corner of your eye that you didn't expect to see? So we made a conscious choice to say we're going to split everybody up. We're going to spread them out. And we're going to keep a limit on things. Well, now with comic book vendors, we're going to probably go for 4, 5 as we grow, 6, maybe even 7 as we go along. We didn't have Cloud City with us this year, but we'd love to have those guys back because they're just so freaking awesome.
Are you thinking about maybe one day putting having a room for all the comic book vendors one day?
No, but what we're doing we're doing something complete, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to make a quick reference to it. In September, we're going to do FC3 Mini. Or it's called FC Mini. Is what
Flower
we're doing.
City Mini-Con.
The Mini-Con.
FCMC.
FCMC. And that's going to be at the Grease Ridge Center Mall in September.
And it's primarily
it's going to be a good
vendors.
old-fashioned comic book swap meet collector convention. It's going to be in the hallway
Billy's
right there.
Like, woohoo! I'm there.
telling you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I was looking for a certain comic when I was there, and I didn't find it, so I'm hoping to find it again.
Yeah, see, and that's common. That'll happen. When we had the 16 show, we had a lot of people say, "Well, I was looking for this and I didn't find it, and so therefore that's why you failed." But guys, did you bother to ask the vendor, "Hey, do you know a guy who might have it?" Or, "Hey, do you know how I might be able to make those connections?"
Last year, there was a particular comic I was looking for and wound up speaking with one of the vendors who had one of his story called his story, set it aside for me.
There you
I
go.
stopped at the store later that week and picked it up.
And I think that's the other thing that people have to remember is a lot of these comic book stores have that brick and mortar store that they might not be able to get to the convention and be able to staff the convention and their store. If their store is open on Saturday and Sunday, it's more challenging for them to do it. So they're not going to necessarily be able to bring all their issues and clear out the entire store type thing, but it gives them a chance to bring a portion of their inventory, and then you've made a new connection with, say, All Heroes comics or whatever, and then you're like, okay, I'll be down later this week type thing, and that's the thing to still generate business around Rochester and around our surrounding suburbs.
I just mainly looking. I saw a lot of books that, even though I couldn't afford them, I saw a lot of books that I was like, oh.
And then it makes you stop and think of what do I want to save up for type thing, because you see something here like, ooh, could you just hold that for me and I'll be back tomorrow.
Like I wound up talking to the guys from the grading company about grading comics. I wound up with a great conversation for them for like 15, 20 minutes.
And those guys were phenomenal.
Yeah. You talked to them too?
Yeah.
I talked to them about my Stan Lee comic.
Yeah.
Because right after I got it signed, I was supposed to get it graded, but it was like another $150.
Oh, jeez.
So I was like, hey, if I bring this tomorrow, how much will it be? And they told me the same price. I'm like, I like it in the case that I have it in. It's beautiful. It just sits there and it looks at me, and I'm like, hi, how you doing?
A lot of the vendors were actually just happy with us in general, because I like to chat with people. So I went around and asked them how their experience were. And I've seen some of the other cons, and they've told me like they enjoyed our staff and they felt comfortable. They were very pleased with how we ran the con, and they definitely will be seeing us again.
Good.
My wife made almost like best friends with that Dottie Kins shirt lady.
Oh,
the
shirt
shirt
did she
lady.
buy?
No, I love Dorothy. I love Dorothy. Zach, do you want to jump in? Come on in.
He's like, I'm
People were shocked that it was our only second con.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Go ahead, Z.
Well, another thing about the shirt lady, who was fantastic. If you don't end up buying something, you can a lot of them I know had cards, so you can take them, and a lot of them have either brick and mortar or online.
Exactly. So this was an opportunity to introduce you to people.
I was going to grab a shirt, like that 3D shirt. I don't know if anybody saw it or not.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. That's so cool.
Amazing. So you grab a card, and then it's like, oh, well, I didn't get it there, but
I can get it down the road.
They have a storefront. Go check it out there.
Yeah, we don't get a cut. So it doesn't matter to me if you buy it at the convention or not.
I was talking to a lot of the vendors, too, and every one of them was like, oh, this is great, Like, I'm having a blast. I'm moving product.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Like one of our vendors was saying they made back twice their vendor booth fee in the first half hour of Saturday.
Wow. Yes.
Wow.
I saw Sean a couple days, both Friday and Saturday, and we were talking about the vendor floor and things like that. And he said that was the one thing that the vendor